Remember when vinyl was the cheaper, cooler alternative? Now it's $50 for a black disc and $120 if it has Taylor Swift's face on it. So what happened? Who's making vinyl this expensive? And why are we still buying it? Vinyl is having a moment right now. For music fans, collectors, and investors, the resurgence of vinyl has made music tangible once again, but it's also made it super expensive. In the early 2010s, vinyl records were a cheaper alternative to CDs. They were a little bit damaged, a little bit worn out, but they were still affordable. And if you didn't have the money for a new release, you could always find a great deal on a used copy. Now that's just not the case anymore. When vinyl started becoming popular again around 2010, it was awesome. It gave us a break from MP3s and made music feel special again. But since then, things have gotten really out of hand. New releases regularly go for $30, $50 plus, and that's just for the standard black vinyl. Special editions can easily double that. In fact, when Taylor Swift released her re-recorded version of Red Era, the standard edition went for $45, but the limited edition picture disc went for $120, and that's just what it was selling for at the record store. On eBay, people were reselling it for $325. So here's why are vinyl records so expensive these days, and who's really to blame? Let's start off by saying there isn't just one thing responsible for this. It's a combination of a lot of different factors. First, there's the major labels. After years of declining profits, the major labels saw the writing on the wall and capitalized on the vinyl revival, except they priced the records at what people would pay for them. New releases from huge artists often go for $50 on vinyl, but you can download the whole album on iTunes for $9 or stream it on Spotify for free. The major labels are making money hand over fist, but the consumer is left scratching their head, wondering why they're paying so much for a record. Next, let's talk about limited editions. Every week there's a new limited edition, colored vinyl, picture disc, box set. It seems like everything is a limited edition these days, and that artificially increases the scarcity of the product, which increases the demand. Then there's retail markups. Some record stores and online shops double the price of the record and say it's a limited edition. Even though it's the same pressing as the one that's being sold for half the price down the street, it's the same product, but the retailers are banking on the hype and the collector mentality. But it's not all the fault of the industry and greedy retailers. There are other factors at play here too, like the material costs. PVC has gotten more expensive, shipping is more expensive, and after 2 years of COVID, pressing plants are way backlogged and shipping container shortages mean that even if your record is pressed, it might not arrive anytime soon. All of these things have contributed to the price hikes and delays. And speaking of pressing plants, let's talk about pressing plant chaos. There aren't that many pressing plants in the world, and most of them are in Europe or the US. There are only 3 in the US. Actually, maybe 4 if you count QRP in Canada, but even if you can get your records pressed, you might have to wait months or even years. Independent artists are struggling to get their records pressed in time for their tour, and because of that, supply is low and prices are high. All of this contributes to a climate where records are seen as a luxury item. Collectors are buying up all the rare pressings, and that's driving the prices up. Sites like Discogs, TikTok, and YouTube hauls are all feeding into the hype. And finally, let's talk about hype culture. The influencer age has ushered in a new era of hype beasts, and sneaker culture has gone mainstream. Now collectors want the rarest variant of an album, not just the music, but the coolest looking vinyl. This is partly due to social media and partly because there are so many variants to choose from. If you go to the record store, you might see 3 or 4 different colored variants of an album by the same artist. That's not normal, that's not healthy, and it's not sustainable. We've reached a point where people are buying records just because they look cool, and that's contributing to the problem. So the question I have for you today is, are we buying vinyl for the music or just the flex? Some editions are pure art, sure, but is every album worth $45 on vinyl? The tactile joy of vinyl is real, yes, but sometimes secondhand sounds just as sweet. There are solutions to this problem, but they require intentionality. Support indie labels and stores instead of big box retailers. Buy used. Not every great record has to be sealed and mint. Be intentional about what you buy. You don't need every colored variant of every album. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend. Until next time.